Yes, Paul Staples. I'm Group Head of Embedded Banking at ClearBank. So our kind of statement is we're the first bank in 250 years to be a principal clearer in the UK, largely because we challenged how infrastructure should be built for the UK, how payments should be choreographed and moved around, and how bank accounts needed to be created. So we put that to the regulators, we put that to the Bank of England, and here we are today. We've got a brand new bank with direct access into the Bank of England. Yeah, so it's a term that's been bandied around for many years now, and on the panel I was just on, I kind of took it all the way back to the 1400s, right? To many people's surprise. Look, the Medici family, 1400s, they put their bank in the middle of the marketplace. They embedded the principle of banking where traders, merchants, salesmen needed money. They needed access to new currencies and loans and so forth, and deposits. They put banking where it was needed, so therefore they embedded banking at a point of need. And fast forward to today with the ATM in the grocery store where you need cash to pay for your groceries, that was embedded banking. And even now, internet payments with eCash in '97, doing the first, as they claim, online payment, that was embedded banking or embedded finance. So really, embedded finance is just moving banking to the point of need. And in today's world, it's all about digital ecosystems and how do we put banking into those ecosystems which have processes and workflow associated to it, adding it into those so that you don't have to do a secondary activity. It's all part of that underlying job that you're trying to curate. Do I see a difference between embedded banking and embedded finance? That's probably a broader question. Both terms used quite interchangeably. I think if you were to do a word cloud on this, I think embedded finance probably leans a little bit closer to the world of credit, and embedded banking leans a little bit closer to the world of accounts and the associated payments associated to those accounts. But they do largely overlap, and I think probably, if you even did that word cloud 10 years ago, you'd probably find the term embedded financial services. So it's morphed, but ultimately, if you hinge it all around a simple principle of putting financial activities, banking, payments, FX, credit, at the point of need, it's a catch-all. We, ClearBank, are very fortunate to be right at the forefront of this and have kind of played our role in UK fintech scene quite dominantly, right? And we're very lucky to have Tide as a client of ours. And if you look at the scale that they've gone through, the growth that they've gone through over the years, powered by ClearBank infrastructure, I think that was one where Tide had a proposition that needed to be provided by a bank, which we were, provided by modern infrastructure to create unique experiences for the SME market, which they wanted to own. That as a partnership, I think, has shown great fruit for the UK as a whole. And the partnership there comes from trusting each other, trusting the infrastructure, trusting the leadership teams to execute, and trusting in the proposition. And that's a two-way street, and that's something we genuinely trust in. But more broader afield, as we now move increasingly more into what we would call non-regulated partnerships out there, so those that don't have any sort of banking license or financial services license. We're dealing with healthcare companies, we're talking to pharmaceutical companies, all of them who are now coming to us to say, well, how can we build a partnership to leverage a platform to solve for new things? And that's where the partnership starts early on. It's a platform, and we're going to help you innovate, solve problems in a different way that previously you hadn't been able to conceive. So we have to share knowledge, we have to share a new way of thinking, we have to build trust through different methodologies, and that's where the partnership's starting to come through. And as a result of that, we're framing new solutions that have never been previously conceived, albeit on the basic building blocks of a bank. Maximum velocity, if you will, of the use cases in certain sectors at this stage. I think it will evolve as we go deeper into some of those sectors. No, from a high level perspective, I think retail as a B2C use case, I think embedded finance has it's run its course, and we're now looking for new, deeper solutions out there. But there's lots of untapped potential in the sectors that we particularly focus on, like in healthcare and utilities. The kind of big, bulge industries that are legacy technologies, legacy ways of dealing with things. So I think we're just on the cusp of opening that up. But that's coming from a deep embedded banking perspective, or embedded banking infrastructure, where it's the infrastructure that's become important to solve the problem, as opposed to we're trying to create a vanity use case, suck it and see if it doesn't work, we turn it off after 12 months. We actually got to have legacy outcome, is probably the way to describe that. So I think we're on to the next wave, the next cycle of how to use embedded banking properly, if you will. Not to say those use cases today haven't been done properly, but they certainly are, they've served their purpose.